Sheldon, you're
unmuted. I'm muted. So guys, yesterday we had a nice little response from the bulls. We ended up getting a nice little daily candle to the upside. And now we're sitting at major resistance. We're sitting at the $27,000 region where we hit yesterday. And now, as I can see, we have a 20 daily moving average. We have the 200 weekly moving average in the spot, which we just reclaimed, which is a really big thing we need to speak about. And we have the 50 daily. And then what we have is this major resistance trend. So as you can see with Bitcoin is firstly, it did bounce at the bottom of this wedge over here. And now we're at the top range. And I think the big question is, are we going to continue with this down cycle? Is there a lower low to come? Was that 24,800 the area of where we needed to bounce? Are we going to go slightly lower to maybe the 200 daily? If so, how do we prep? How do we trade it? Is there some massive shorts today? Or secondly, is this the breakout? Is this the area where we start to squeeze? Because for me, seeing all the indicators in this area right now, including the daily stochastic RSI sitting at this area over here, plus what we do have is we have a trend being broken on the RSI as well, is now is the time for the bears to take control if this is going to go down. But if not, this is where they are putting their stops above and we can see a massive squeeze. Now, guys, we've had a few big things. Firstly, we have had Bitcoin bounce, which was good. And now we're sitting at a critical area. It's reclaimed the 200 weekly, which was a big thing. But now, secondly, above that, we have the dominance sitting over 50%. And now we're looking at a possible 53 to 55% dominance. And if that can be on a Bitcoin breakout, that means there's fuel. Because I want to show you this little arrow here at the bottom. It's indicating that we've been having this nice momentum move to the downside. I want to see if you can actually see my line. Let me make it thicker for you guys. There we go. There's no volume in the market right now. And ultimately, you're going to get volume on one of these two breaks over here. If we have the break over here, guys, it's going to be big. It's going to be big. It's going to be fast. We have the weekly RSI sitting at the bottom now. We have the 200 weekly being reclaimed. And this is ready to go. And we need to be ready for the short squeeze. And we need to be ready for the rejection. I am currently in a few trades. I want to speak about the trades that I'm in. I'm in $107,000 long on AVAX. I'm in a $20,000 sand long. And I'm looking at taking another $50,000 Solana long too within this show. So we're going to speak about the next trades, the next shorts, the next longs, and how do we prep ourselves for possible Bitcoin domination. We are here every day. Get pumped, get amped, get the coffee ready, and no more wasting time. Let's get into the show.
Click. Have you heard the news? What? With his finger on the pulse, it's like Sheldon knew. Click. When the sniper shoots, we got Sheldon on the charts, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. So enter the sniper, click. Time to be dedicated, sniper mode is activated. Explosions in the market are in target, and Sheldon demonstrates. Mirror on the wall, Master Sheldon tell us all. We got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. Enter the sniper, click. Enter the sniper.
Crypto Banter fam, hope you're having a fantastic day. Hope you're staying strong. Market's been crazy, many ups and downs this year, but we remain strong. Is this depression? Is it altcoin capitulation? Is this the point where they make us want to quit? If so, we are near the end. We're near the end of the suffering if we're in that stage right now. And it kind of feels like it. It kind of feels that we have Bitcoin right now rampaging. And, I've been focusing a lot on looking at where this was previously. Where did Bitcoin do these sort of runs? And, when did it go on this massive rampage? Because why are we breaking this crazy level of the 50% dominance? Where's that basically happening? And it basically started in these areas of 2019. This is where it started, guys. We basically had that dominance. And if I show you here quickly, I'll jump to the dominance over here. We had this rampage in dominance. And we could basically see it. If I go to the weekly here and I go back to 2019, this is where the run happened over here. Look at this. So we ended up having this run within 2018 and 2019. But ultimately what it was just a long Bitcoin run that got us eventually out of this bear market that we've been in. But what it basically did was a Bitcoin domination, where it was just Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. And I have Craig next to me, and I'm sure this was the time where, we've been speaking about when is the market going to rinse? When's it going to rinse the crap? When's it going to get through a lot of these things? And it kind of feels like this phase right now where we don't have Bitcoin really making lower lows and going back into the 14, 15,000s. We actually have it looking pretty strong, but we're not getting it from Ethereum. We're not getting it from altcoins. We're not getting it from all these sort of things. But then you do have to go back, and you have to go back to go see, that 2019 phase, the 2018, 2019 phase, this was Bitcoin's rampage to the upside. And ultimately it did take dominance for a little while that went through that. And I think it's always going to come down to Big Daddy brings the money into the market. And that's why they're always going to start with Big Daddy. But one thing we do have to focus on is we need to understand that we are getting to a point that if this is a true domination from Bitcoin, we are getting to the phase of a bull market where we have the Bitcoin rampage up. We do have a possible slight depression to come, which is this little area over here, which we shall see. But ultimately, what we got to think about now is looking at this market now and being like, okay, so this is just broken off. And this probably means that dominance is going off for a while. It probably means that dominance is going up to the areas of 52, 53%, maybe even 58%. But at least what we do know is we are going back to the strength within Bitcoin. And ultimately, this should be the restart of the cycle. This should be the start where it goes back to Bitcoin, back to Ethereum, and then back into altcoins. So it does mean that the alts are lagging right now, and we do have the Bitcoin push really strong. But we do need to identify that if Bitcoin goes on this rampage, which this for me is a big indication, because why would we break 50% if Bitcoin's still going to range? Why would we not break the major barriers and start getting some progress in Bitcoin if we start to break this major level over here? This is indicating that the next 2 months can be in favor of Bitcoin. And if I look at that and I start looking at the actual charts of Bitcoin, it makes sense to me that this is a push from Bitcoin. Because you look at previously, when Bitcoin, the dominance went in that strong phase, it did start off within Bitcoin. And then after that, slight depression mode, which I don't think will have such a big depression as last time. This is indicating a very long period. If we look at this, it's looking from July all the way to March. It's looking at nearly a year of depression. Maybe we shall see. But ultimately, out of it, I'm excited to see that we've started the restart within Bitcoin. So I know it's frustrating, and I know it's annoying when it comes to your altcoin portfolio and your long-term portfolios. But one thing you do need to understand is we just one more tick in the box closer to a bull market, and those prices that you're looking at now soon will be gone. What's that big saying? This soon shall pass. And that's exactly it. You got these coins at 95%, really, really far down. And those prices will be gone. And so will some tokens. So just know that we're in that really big, frustrating part of this depression cycle or this restart of it. But we know what's soon to come next. Guys, we are, I think, 10 months away from the halving. That technically should be the start, right? That's where things start moving. We have this whole thing with BlackRock. And what is there? It's just before the halving, right? Yeah. Yeah. So it's crazy how now all of a sudden we start to getting a few bullish possible things. There's going to be a catalyst. We're in this phase now, which just FUD and attacks. You got to remember that there is going to be the team that's going to respond, the bullish team. And there's going to be some catalysts. We had Elon Musk last year or the year before. We had many different catalysts that came in, Michael Saylor, all these sort of guys. And again, this catalyst is going to come and it's going to trap us very quick. So guys, I just want to remind you again, you have time to build your portfolios right now, diversify your portfolios, and get a few narratives. While things are cheap, even if it's a little bit of money, I don't care if it's $10, make sure that you're putting out a few fishing lines. You're going fishing, and that's the thing. Put out many lines and put out in a few narratives. You don't have to put crazy money into it. Your bigger, safer money, put in the bigger, safer bets. Put in your Bitcoin, your ETH, these sort of trades. But you should take a few lines. This is just me personally, what I'm doing and the experience that I've seen in crypto. Because when Uniswap launched, we got like a $4,000 airdrop. When all these things happened, if you never own some of these tokens in a different narrative, you never get this random blessing that crypto just gives you now and then. We saw it with the airdrops that we've seen, the amount of things that have just come. You need to be a part of that. So just make sure when you think long-term again now, that we are restarting with Bitcoin. And this may mean another month or two of Bitcoin dominance. Doesn't mean altcoins are not going to go up, but it does mean you have a little bit more time to accumulate. Make sure you got some gaming, make sure you got some AI, make sure you got some DeFi, make sure you got some full of them, because at some point, one of them are going to rip really strong and you're going to catch yourself a big fish with one of those lines. And then again, I want you to be a part of Sniper School. I want you to be a part of these things. Why? Because I want you to know what you want from the next bull market. Guys, if you don't start setting these goals right now, the bull market's going to come and you're not going to sell. And that's the big thing. So when the markets are shit right now and nothing is making you money, what do you want out of this market? And set that very big, and then take the top 5 people next to you and tell them exactly what you want and exactly what price you're going to sell. And try to do whatever you can that when that greed monster comes again, that you take exactly what you want out of this market. What life do you want to create out of it? Do you want to be a day trader and work your ass off every day? Why don't you just stay at your job and do that? You know, what do you really want to create within this actual journey? Focus on that, guys, because when it comes, you need to be focused and be ready for it. Okay, enough being that. Remember, what we do have is we have CoinW, sign up on CoinW, US, no KYC, no KYC, and no VPN, and you can trade leverage. So if you want that, go for that. Link in the description below. Sign up with the Sniper School account and get into Sniper School. This is all the badass stuff you get in Sniper School. You get all of the trend lines, all of the tools. You get the live trading sessions. You get the strategies. You get the leverage. You get the portfolio splitting systems. We have a live event coming up in the next 12 hours. So make sure you are part of Sniper School. And we have Banter Bubbles. Okay, let's jump into this and let's see what's happening. I want to speak about my trade quickly. So because we have the weekly, I want to buy unlimited weed. Is that your bull market strategy? Okay, diversifying, I see. So I want to speak about this quickly. So what I'm doing currently is, last week was a really great week of trading ranges, you know, up and down, you know, make your 10, 20% get out. But what I'm starting to see now is I'm starting to look at possibly building entries that I want to hold for another week or two. So I'm slightly broadening my strategy at the moment as things stand. And I'm sort of fishing at the moment at the bottom of the range. So I want to quickly speak about this, and let me just get it set up here. There we go. So I want to speak about this quickly on the 4 hours. So what obviously happened previously with a lot of altcoins was we had that random drop off, right? Where the alt got destroyed very quickly overnight. And what it created was this huge ass imbalance. And what you always want to see, if it's to the up or the downside, is whenever you get a massive move like that, I'll zoom in slightly so you can see it. Whenever you get a massive move, we tend to go sideways. And what's basically going to happen from here is 2 steps. We're basically going to accumulate. Now, remember, guys, this 4 hour time frame, this is what happened on a short time frame. You're going to see these patterns happen on all time frames. And you need to know how that basically works and how to trade that. But ultimately, you got 2 ways that this works. Is you're going to range and you're going to have another one. Okay. And then from there, it can range and it can be another one. Okay. Or what you have is the secondary pattern, which is the upside down bar, where we start to go sideways and we fill that really quickly. Now, guys, we've seen this many times. We saw this a lot last year, and we saw that a lot in the beginning of this year, when we started to have Bitcoin have those bigger pullbacks and then get completely bought up really quickly. So for me, I'm prepping for either one of these. The only thing that I'm starting to see, though, is I'm obviously starting to see that on the weekly within a lot of these charts now, the higher time frame RSIs are getting down to the bottom. So what I'm starting to see, like if you look at AVAX here, you know, we're looking at the smaller time frame, which I just showed you, but I'm also zooming out and looking at where are we realistically. Now, you got Bitcoin sitting at resistance at the moment. You have the dominance sitting that just broke the 50%. And if Bitcoin had to break this little range, it means Bitcoin's going to attempt, right? It's going to go tempt those higher areas yet again. And you got the dominance to back it. And then I go look at the altcoins and I go see a lot of them are at horizontals right now. Now, what this basically means, guys, is if we're still in the phase of possible depression, you know, going back to this chart over here, if this phase is still here to come, let's say this is full Bitcoin phase and we still have this. This is basically range trading. Okay, we basically have a range of what the coins will be trading. The same sort of highs, same sort of lows, and it's going to be basically trending. And if I take that back now to this chart over here, it's very similar to what we saw within the Chainlink chart, where ultimately price from here, if it holds these levels now and breaks these trends and Bitcoin starts to move up, basically range trading. Okay, now I'm starting to see, okay, you know, I spoke about this yesterday. This range are huge. You know, they're 100%. They're really big. And ultimately, my smaller time frames at the moment are showing, okay, RSIs are going a little bit to the top. But what we have is the weekly getting to the bottom. So what I'm doing slightly with this position right now is I'm actually starting to build positions that I want to hold in this little push to the upside over here over the weekly. Now, this indicator doesn't lie. It may sit at the bottom for a little while in this area over here, like you can see, but it never lies. That always tells you the bottom phase of when bulls are going to try return and try reclaim. And ultimately, this is getting tapped out at the bottom. So what I've done is I've actually taken a trend line, and you can see I've drawn a daily trend line of this at the moment, because I know on the horizontals, we are at support right now. And if I can catch this daily break of trend over here, we should just repeat what we've been doing, because what's depression? Depression is a ranging market, a market where things price is going nowhere. It gets the same highs, same lows, starts to make you lose interest, all these sort of things. And this should just continue, not even thinking above that bull market starts just yet, but knowing the opportunities. So now what it's saying is, because we've had this big drop off, it is taking a few days to slow down. But what we do know is now volume comes in after that, because what you have is you had volume that brought price down, and now you have volume nothing at the moment, and price is going sideways. And when you get to this little area over here, it's going to make a big decision. So I want to make sure that my full position is in these areas, that if we get this break to the top here, I actually want to hold the trades a little bit longer. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys, and you can put your hands up behind the screen, the stop losses is a bit of an issue right now. The stop loss is a big issue because we're ranging right now. It's just stopping and stopping and stopping. So what I'm doing is I'm building my position and just slightly making my ranges a little bit bigger. I'm trying to sculpt the market right now. Problems with volume is they're just wicking us the whole time. And maybe I'm playing on the wrong time frame. Now, this is what I speak about in school, is why would you trade your ass off every day if you could trade once a month and get a better results and you didn't even know it? Now, right now, what he's showing that we should start shifting our strategy slightly a little bit more bigger, a little bit more, holding a little bit more longer and playing a little bit of a bigger range. And that's going to be the better way to make money. Because if you look at this little area over here of us going sideways for a while, you can go through like 20 stop losses. You know, this can be many, many, many little stop hits. And ultimately, it's just taking away little bite sizes of your cash. And then at the end of the day, when you do get the winning cash, you got not a lot of money in it. And that's a big thing. So I'm building up an AVAX position. And this position over here, I'm looking at breaking out any moment now. If Bitcoin breaks that high of that 27,100, I know it will explode at any point. But where I really see it exploding is once it starts breaking through this trend. And I just want to make sure that I can use that method where I can literally use this area over here to build my position. But by the time it gets to this big trend line, I want to double my position. I want to make it even bigger. And as long as I have my stop loss above my entry, and I can keep using my profits up as it goes. So I want to use this profit over here to make my position even bigger. I could be sitting with a $250,000 position by the time we break out of this trend. And what I'm looking at is I'm looking at two areas of where I'm seeing it go before another big retracement. Because I do think there could be possible more downside in crypto. I think it does happen after the next bounce though. I think we have a bounce up, and if we don't get where we need to get, I think we do go to those lower level sort of areas. And that would sort of indicate depression phase. You know, very similar to what I just showed over here. Depression phase. If we go and we get a lower high now, it means we start this depression phase to the downside. And I'm basically prepping for that. But if I look at this simple trade on the weekly over here, if I can build that position and end up getting that move over there, you know, I can end up making $150,000, $200,000 on a $9,000 position. And that's the big thing now. So it's just about what I want to teach you again about today. It's about moving with the market. Last week was a very good ranging market. But now what it's basically saying is your higher time frames are getting down to the bottom. So slightly start to zoom out and start shifting a little bit, that you don't have to act every single day now. It's actually better to take a few days to get your entry and to actually hold it out and follow up within the stop loss. So it's just a big thing. That's why I'm taking that trade. And very similar to why I'm taking the sand trade. Now, if I look over here on the 4 hour, what we have on the 4 hour, I just want to see this is, oh, this all shifted. Oh, there we go. This one here. There we go. Cool. So what we have on the sand trade over here is I decided I think gaming is going to rip pretty strong as well on the next push up. I feel gaming got hit really hard, and the charts look really nice for me, to be honest. So what we have over here is I'm currently building a sand position. So I have a CoinW account. It's around $11,000 over here at the moment, and I'm starting to build up a sand position, and I'm dollar costing my entry. Now I'll go back over here. Now I'm dollar costing and making sure that by the time we break this trend, guys, if we do break to the top side here, there's going to be a big ass squeeze, and it's probably going to go very quickly to the upside. If this plays out, I think we're going to have a double digit altcoin day very soon. So what I'm doing is every little dip off that comes in here, I'm just building this position. I have a bigger stop right now as things stand. But as soon as we break out, I want to be fully in and I want to move my stops basically to entry. But if you look at a lot of these trades right now, it's definitely favoring the longs more than the shorts. Definitely. I think on the next push up, if we don't get to the right areas, there's going to be phenomenal shorts that we can be taking together. But when it comes to the trades now, you can see a risk to rewards are sitting well in favor of some short-term longs. Now, remember, your long-term portfolio, like I say, make sure you have all the narratives and make sure you've sorted out and just be patient with that one. Be patient with it. We have Bitcoin rampaging and you got to take a little bit of time to make money in your larger part or your longer-term part of your portfolio. But when it comes to staying in the market now, you got to trade this crazy volatility. You know, crypto is very volatile right now. And think about it. If Bitcoin ends up going to $100, $200, $300,000 in the next bull run, this volatility is probably going to disappear, guys. We're not going to have this crazy volatility anymore. So use this again. You want to get good at crypto, just trade the shit out of it and use a trading portfolio or a small account. Just get really good at it. You know, you want to learn trading, jump to the 5 minutes and go wild. Just don't use stupid money. Don't use money that just go crazy for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Doesn't matter. Go 20x leverage, but with $10. Like, don't put any crazy money. Just learn the skill and get your ass whooped many times and then start winning and then start identifying. But get ready for it because, you know, when the bull market comes, this is the tools you got. So looking at this now, I'm building up over here and risk to reward for me. I want to be in by the break of this trade over here. And I'm looking around at 20, 25% within altcoins. Now, guys, this isn't altcoins back to the highs of the beginning of this year. For now, it's just a retest of all the areas that we lost. So we lost all these support areas over here. And ultimately, I want to trade this all the way back up here. And then we can start looking at shorting possibly down. Or we do something crazy and Bitcoin breaks 30K. Now, if Bitcoin does break 30K, now we've spoken about what that can basically mean. Because you jump back here to the weekly. And here's this wedge, guys. Here's this crazy wedge over here. You have the RSI's reset. You have the daily RSI breaking trend, which is a really long trend. But look at this wedge right now. Now, if we break this over here, I can't believe this volume. There's no volume in crypto right now, like zero volume. But ultimately, if we break this and we break this high over here, you're going to see volume. And ultimately, you can see a candle like this come at any single moment when that basically happens. So now what you have is you have the 20 moving average, the 20 weekly moving average. Got the 20 daily moving average. Let's just get this back over here. You have the 200 weekly moving average. You have the 50 daily moving average, all sitting at this major area over here. Now, remember, whenever you add a resistance, it's going to take the most volume to get through that resistance, which I'm not seeing a lot of over here. They're not really fighting it too much to yet the bears at all. But ultimately, this is where they're trying to hold. And if we get through here, it's going to take some volume. It will probably shoot through really quickly. And then after that, you don't need volume, because then the FOMO is going to come back in. Guys, you can't tell me if Bitcoin's 30K, let's say next week again, everyone's coming back. Everyone that got filtered out now, they're all back. And they're all buying up high again. So the moral of the story is be in when there's no interest. Be in there where it's going to zero. Be in there where Bitcoin's a scam and crypto's a scam. And load your positions. So by the time that they say Bitcoin's a hero, Bitcoin's phenomenal, Bitcoin's great, you riding it strong and you within the actual trade. It's about just being ahead of the market. And I feel by us fishing in these areas right now, we are ahead of the rest because the sentiment is still bad and it's still not good there right now. And we want to make sure that we are ahead. And remember, if Bitcoin does shoot through these areas over here, we can move all of our stops straight under these lows that's just happened. And ultimately, if it breaks the 31,000, you then have the likelies of 38, 42, and 48, which is still a possibility. Who knows? It may just keep going. Like, this is the time for Bitcoin to shine, right? So for me, the way I'm basically looking at it is let's look at the 200 MA as a good area for us to, the 200 weekly moving average to close above this week. That'll be really good because what that will do is it will turn the RSIs again. It will make sure that this RSI crosses to the upside. Then I think we're on, guys. Remember, Bitcoin still held the support trend. It still held these crazy areas. And if we hold that this week, it's a long time. That's just the truth about it when it comes to the charts and the basic understanding. Where I want to obviously see us hold for now is there are some bigger stop losses. This low over here is the area we want to hold. Very simple. So my stops are here for now. As soon as we break out of here, I can put my stops very closely over here and I can start to monitor. I just want to be in before this squeeze happens because we've seen the squeeze on many of the altcoins. This is the squeeze, guys. We look at AVAX. This is the squeeze. We look at Matic. Let's just load up here. Here's the wedge right now. Here's a great trade.
Yeah.
We're on support right now. This great trade.
Yeah.
You buy on the support trend. You put your stops under the lows, which is around a 3 to 4% stop loss. And just this gap, guys. I'm not sitting and saying we're going all the way back to the top. I'm going back just to the areas that we lost the support. But you got to look at that. I know that's 26 to 30%. Guys, if you don't understand how quickly you can make it back within crypto, and if you get a few trades of 30, 40%, and you learn the mechanism of building your positions and riding them on the higher time frames, you'll be back very quickly from whatever you've lost in crypto. Extremely, extremely fast. Just make it very simple. So same thing over here. At some point, it is showing a little bit more time, but at some point, the squeeze will happen. And when the squeeze happens, that's the area of where I want to be in. You do have the second scenario where we lose this. Short the bloody thing. If we lose this over here, retest, you short, which is stop loss below, because it means we're going to go tempt these lows again. But ultimately, this is the time to pay attention to opening a trade. It's long. The favor of the long right now makes sense. Until this is lost, then we can look at shorts. But then you're making it definite for yourself that it is going to be a short to the downside. So for now, Matic is another big one that I'm looking to take the trade, as well as Solana. And we're going to speak about this one for a sec as well. Look at Solana. If there's a time to long, like this is support trend. Like this is support. There's your stop loss, your risk to reward right now. Because what I like about Solana is it did have a little peak through here, which is good. Which usually means after that, we're going to start this quick move to the upside. Solana looks strong, guys. I don't know, but people don't know. But to Bitcoin, to that, it's looking good. I think we're going to have a really strong push at Solana again. And I think it's be back in the $20 really soon. But ultimately here, if we look at the stop loss, guys, you can be entering these coins with 3 to 4% stop losses right now. And put stop losses. Anything you're buying right now, put stop losses. It's 3 to 4%. You know, it's risk to reward. And ultimately, again, 20 to 30% as in my next target. I want to quickly speak about this one. It's very interesting. It's a coin called Blockstacks. So this is obviously built on Bitcoin, right? So on Bitcoin right now, we know the narrative, and this is one of the strongest one. Now, guys, this for me, we spoke about it this morning, actually. This is very similar to the first tokens that came up on AI through tokens. Like, not to say it's the most incredible company out there, but it's one of the first ones, you know, when it comes. So it usually means that they're very active, good money-making tokens in the beginning. Doesn't mean that they're fundamentally there to hold for a long period. So just pay attention to this, because if Bitcoin breaks out that wedge, I think this thing's going to fly. And the way I'd basically trade this is I would start off with a little bit of a bigger stop loss, which is this area over here. Okay. And I think that this will start to make its way up to these higher levels up here. So risk to reward, you can already see where I'm buying to where I'd protect myself versus my reward is really good. Why am I saying this area over here? Because if you take your golden zone, there's your 618. Okay, so this is more or less the area of where we can get to from there. But this looks like a really, really, really strong play, especially if Bitcoin breaks out. And ultimately, looking at a possible 62%. Now, guys, I don't think fundamentally I'd hold this token for a long period, but I'll make this trade. I'll make this trade. You know, it's like that soldier analogy, and I'm going to bring it all back. This is one of my kamikaze guys. One of my guys I'll send out. They do a lot of damage, but if I leave them there too long, they blow up. So I know that I'm taking this trade right now. And the day that I see a double digit or something like that, I'm out, because I know how quickly it comes back. And what I mean by that is very similar to this. It explodes, comes back. It explodes, and it comes back. It explodes, and it comes back. So you can make a lot of money. But the fact that I categorize my token, and I know it's a very strong money-making token, but it's not reliable. It's not consistent at all. So it means as soon as it does do well for me, I need to pull it out quickly. Otherwise, it always gives everything back. And that's the way you got to start taking your tokens. You're going to start looking at them and be like, what are my reliable tokens? And what are the ones that are there that make me the money that I got to protect very quickly? How long are you going to leave your soldiers in the battlefield? That's a big thing, because some you can leave, Bitcoin, ETH, they can hold themselves. But other tokens, they're out there. And if you don't take profits on them, they come all the way back down. Guys, you can't deny that this year we've seen 400% up in some altcoins, and they've all come back to entry. I'm sure you're annoyed that you never took profits, or you keep making money and giving it all back. And that's about understanding the different tokens and what they're actually there for. So right now, as things stand, Solana, Matic, AVAX, and a sand trade is what I'm looking at. A Blockstacks will be a spot trade for me to make some money, not a leverage trade, a spot trade. I'm looking at Bitcoin. Let's go back over here. get this in. I'm looking at Bitcoin facing major resistance as things stand at the moment over these areas over here. If we do start getting Bitcoin above the 27,500, I think the squeeze is going to happen. And you can see over here, I've basically put the two areas of what I think happens. If there's a huge rejection from here, I think we go higher low, if not the 24K, and then a strong bounce. Or from here, we smash completely through and we're at 30K really quickly. I'm prepping for either. So if you zoom into Bitcoin right now, what you will start to see is there's a support trend line. So let's go back over here. Let's go to the 4 hour. And you can basically see that we are at resistance right now. So put in your support trend. There we go. Bitcoin's got to hold that today. We hold the support trend, we break the top, we're going up. We break the bottom, we're coming down for a higher low or retest down. We break the bottom, look for shorts. We break the top, look for longs. Trade, make money. The altcoins are moving right now and keep structured. Guys, make sure, there's a big thing today, just go double check your long-term portfolio again. And just make sure that you've gotten all the narratives. You don't have to put huge money. Put majority of money in Bitcoin and Ethereum. No financial advice. And put a few fishing lines out because one of them is going to make you a millionaire. So stay focused. Have a fantastic day. Come join me for Sniper School tonight. And we have live trading sessions as well later on in the next 4 hours. So if you've done Sniper School, come join that. Have a fantastic day. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Much love, Antwerp.